Hurricane Isaac is roaring through LSU's campus right now, and it looks like that by the end of the night, we'll see more than just fallen signs around campus. The first things to go when a storm is approaching are usually the essentials like water and coolers. Arnold says that the best way to prepare for this is to get these items early in case you have to leave town. Dozens of cars were broken into last night, and after the robberies, thieves left some of the doors wide open. The robbers also failed to close many of the trunks. Representative Honore says that while change is likely, it might come a bit slower because no one necessarily wants to be first. Officials say that Hurricane Isaac could bring almost 20 inches of rain to the Baton Rouge area. Education focuses on what a child is supposed to learn, but what about a safe learning environment? With national efforts to stop bullying in schools, I look at a recent attempt in Louisiana to define the problem. Democratic State Senator Jean-Paul Morel wants to settle a score.
There's been this kind of empirical debate by proponents and opponents of bullying in the state that either it's a problem or it's not, and this bill sought to do is collect data to say, hey, either it's a problem or it's not.
Local schools already collect data on bullying, but Morel says Senate Bill 370 would give that data to school boards who would turn it over to the Department of Education.
What the bill sought to do is clarify the law saying, hey, under the previous law, you do have to also provide education to teachers so they could actually, identify bullying and deal with it.
Justin Morgan is in his 6th year teaching PE at Dutchtown High School. He says while his school doesn't have a bullying problem, that doesn't make it easier to prevent.
It's very tough as a teacher to monitor that because you don't see the students every single day.
And that social media adds to the difficulty.
We're not following our students on Twitter.
While Morgan says technology makes it easier for students to bully, Morel hoped his legislation would use technology to identify the numbers on bullying.
Some people just don't think bullying's a problem. They don't think bullying exists. They don't want any record of it if it does.
The numbers weren't in Morel's favor, though. A Senate subcommittee on education deferred Senate Bill 370 on Thursday. Morgan says even without further legislation, teachers are remaining vigilant.
I think bullying is something that's gone on, since the beginning of time.
Combating it is a different story. Morel isn't optimistic about strong anti-bullying legislation in Louisiana.
If we can't even get the opposition to bills, progressive bills dealing with bullying, to acknowledge that bullying exists, then I don't think there's much room for compromise anywhere.
We want all of our kids to be safe, have a good education.
Morgan says even without data, he and other teachers will work hard to stop bullying in the future. For Tiger TV, I'm Travis Cobb. Louisiana laws require training for teachers to recognize bullying and for schools to record incidents, including cyberbullying. No one is a stranger to James Duncan.
I never meet strangers because you never can tell what's in a person's heart or what could you do for that person.
That hasn't always been true for Duncan. Diagnosed with paranoid schizophrenia and later bipolar disorder, Duncan sometimes saw himself as a stranger.
I didn't understand myself at first.
Duncan has been going to the Mental Health Association's Alliance House for 20 years. The house offers Duncan and others education services, nutrition classes, art programs, and more. MHA Director Melissa Silva says their organization wants to help the community understand its clients.
James is a wonderful, wonderful individual who, unfortunately sometimes is feared by those in the community because of ignorance.
It's not about how it looks, it's how somebody look at your picture.
Part of Duncan's picture,
I'm not the world's best drawer in the world,
is the calm he feels from art. Duncan says his favorite part of coming to the Alliance House is the Arts for Wellness program that happens twice a week.
When you try and you do your best, that's the best artwork of all.
Art is all about creativity and self-confidence and bringing back self-esteem.
When you present yourself with a picture, it's coming out as a picture, something that you're going through with, maybe good or bad.
The up and down nature of life with bipolar disorder, Duncan says, never took away from drawing or his friends at the Alliance House.
I enjoy the people here as family, home away from home.
To Duncan, that family has always been there, skipping the step of being strangers. For Tiger TV, I'm Travis Cobb. 36 cars burglarized in one night.
I've never felt safe.
It's enough to make anyone feel a little uneasy.
This is where we want to retire.
Beverly Parigi has lived in the same house on Sparrow Way for 36 years. She says Friday's burglaries are a part of a growing trend in the past 10 years.
I don't even like to go out during the day. We stay inside a lot.
Surveillance tape shows two men cashing in at a local Kroger Coinstar. Police say these two men took almost $100 in change from at least 3 dozen cars. How were they able to get into all these cars? The answer is simple: unlock doors.
Always lock your doors no matter where you're going.
Sergeant Rob Flores talked to drivers at a Beaumont Teenage Police Academy. He explained how they can keep their cars safe.
Yeah, that's easy.
He says many auto burglars move quickly. They need only seconds to check if a car is unlocked.
How long does it take to burglarize 36 cars? Probably less than 30 minutes if they're all unlocked.
Dozens of cars were broken into last night, and after the robberies, thieves left some of the doors wide open. The robbers also failed to close many of the trunks. In one case, someone even reported a stolen gun.
Started this, I was a criminal, right? And now I'm an armed criminal.
Flores adds that many cases of car theft often go unreported.
If we don't know about that offense, then we can't respond to it.
Even so,
I just don't know who to trust, and that's sad.
remembering simple steps to keep your car and what's in it closed to robbers. In Beaumont, Travis Cobb, KFDM 6 News. A 4-time state champion in javelin and a big recruit for LSU's track and field team.
It's a big accomplishment. I've always dreamed of being a good javelin thrower, and I never figured that I would go to college for it.
Freshman Rebecca Wales wasn't always going to throw javelin, though.
And I wasn't going to do it in high school, but the coach didn't have a javelin thrower, so he came, got me before the district meet, and I went out and practiced the day before, and I threw it and I did well, so I just kept with it.
She was a softball player primarily and was kind of just doing the javelin on the side. So you're like, whoa, the potential for the student athlete could be pretty big.
Assistant coach Derek Yush says it didn't take long for the coaching staff to see that potential.
After seeing her throw once or twice in those state meets, I kind of was sold and knew what we had as far as a recruit.
I really didn't have any competition but myself.
From a prized recruit to a freshman, Wales says that transition is humbling.
It's kind of like a reality check.
But helpful.
It helps you to work harder because you want to be the best.
And in her first meet of the spring, Wales did just that.
I was a little nervous.
Taking first place in javelin and setting a personal record. Yush says he sees this as only the beginning, and that personal record won't stand long.
The approach run that she took at the first meet was actually quite an abbreviated approach run. So the fact that she can throw that far off of a shorter number of steps and less velocity and momentum, I think the potential is increasingly high as the year goes on.
As Wales gets her feet more firm in the ground at LSU, her arm could bring something to one of the NCAA's most decorated track and field programs. Travis Cobb, Tiger TV Sports.